I am bringing ex-husband to the Christmas party. Don't worry about it, my girlfriend said about her ex-husband, after 9 months of keeping me secret from her coworkers. So I decided to do some research about this divorce she has been talking about. What I found made me realize I had been living a complete lie. I am Sterling 35M, been working as a business analyst for about 6 years now. Make decent money, around $78K, not rich but comfortable enough to take my girlfriend out to nice places and help her with bills when she is tight. Been dating Evangeline, 44F, for 9 months now. She is a corporate manager making about $85K. Claims she has been going through a divorce from her ex-husband Maximilian for the past year. When we started dating, she told me she had just started this new job 3 months before we met. Said she was technically still married but separated. Divorce papers were being filed, just taking forever because of lawyers and paperwork. Made sense to me. I know divorces can drag on forever, especially when there is complicated assets involved. She seemed genuine about wanting to move on with her life, always talking about how excited she was to start fresh. I was genuinely falling for this woman. Here is where things started feeling off though. 9 months we have been together, and I have never met a single person from her work. Not one. She goes to happy hours every Friday, office birthday parties, company lunches. Never once invited me or even mentioned bringing me along. When I asked about it early on, she always had some excuse ready. Oh, it is just boring work stuff. You had hate it. It is all office politics and drama. Not worth your time. Most of them are older and married, you wouldn't fit in. I figured she was just one of those people who likes to keep work and personal life completely separate. My buddy Jake from college is the same way. Never brings his girlfriend to work events. So I didn't push it. But looking back now, there were signs I should have caught. Like how she would get nervous when her phone rang during dinner and it was someone from work. How she'd step outside to take those calls, saying it was just boring project stuff but taking 20 minutes to discuss it. How she never seemed to have any funny work stories to share. Which is weird because every job has at least some office drama worth talking about. The biggest red flag was probably how she reacted when I suggested stopping by her office one day when I was in the area. I had just finished a client meeting 2 blocks away and thought it would be nice to surprise her. Maybe take her to lunch. When I texted her about it, she freaked out, said she was super busy and in back-to-back meetings all day and maybe we could grab dinner instead. Looking back, the panic in her voice should have been obvious. But last week, she comes home all excited about their annual Christmas party. Big fancy thing at the Marriott downtown. Open bar, dancing, the whole deal. She is talking about what dress to wear. How her boss, Mr. Peterson, is bringing his wife for the first time. How Sarah from accounting finally has a boyfriend to bring after being single for 2 years. She spent an hour showing me dress options online. I am sitting there thinking, awesome. Finally, get to meet her coworkers. See where she spends most of her time, put faces to all the names she has mentioned over the months. Then she drops the bomb. I am thinking about asking Max to come with me. Max, her ex-husband, the guy she is supposedly divorcing. I literally had to ask her to repeat herself because I thought I heard wrong. Wait, what? Why would you take your ex-husband instead of your boyfriend of 9 months? That is when the whole truth came spilling out, and it was so much worse than I could have imagined. She has been telling everyone at work that she is married this whole time. Since she started the job, she just let them assume and never corrected it. She has been wearing her wedding ring to work every day. The same ring I thought she only wore out of habit until the divorce was final. Her desk has pictures of her and Max from when they were actually happy together. Her coworkers think they are this perfect married couple. So what? I said, trying to stay calm. Tell them you are getting divorced, and you have a boyfriend now. Problem solved. But no. She says it would be too weird and too complicated to explain after all this time. Says she doesn't want to deal with all the questions and office gossip. Says she would rather just bring Max, let everyone think they are still happily married, and deal with telling people about the divorce later when things settle down. I am staring at this woman like she has completely lost her mind. So you would rather take your ex-husband to a work party and pretend you are still married than introduce me as your boyfriend? She starts getting defensive real quick, saying I am being selfish and jealous, That it is just one night and it doesn't mean anything. That I am making it about my ego when she is just trying to avoid drama at work. "What is the big deal?" she says. "It is not like anything's going to happen between us. We are just putting on a show for a few hours so I don't have to deal with awkward conversations." "But here is the thing that really got me," I said. "Evangeline, we have been together 9 months. How is it that nobody at your job even knows I exist?" The look on her face told me everything. That is when she admitted it. Nobody knows about me. Not a single person in her professional life knows she has a boyfriend. I have been completely erased from an entire section of her life. While I have been introducing her to my friends, my coworkers, posting pictures of us together on social media, she has been living a completely double life. When I told her how disrespectful that felt, how it made me feel like some dirty secret she was ashamed of, she completely lost it. Started crying, saying I was being unreasonable and putting pressure on her during an already stressful time. Said I clearly don't understand how complicated her situation is. "You are supposed to support me, not make everything harder," she sobbed. Then she hung up on me and said she needed space to think about whether this relationship is worth all this drama. That was 2 days ago. She has been giving me the silent treatment ever since. Will not answer my calls or respond to texts. And here is what is really messing with my head. I am starting to wonder if this divorce is even real, or if I have been the other man this whole time without knowing it. Update: one phone died yesterday during a client meeting and had to wait for a replacement screen to get delivered. Took 2 days because of holiday shipping delays. What an absolutely insane 48 hours this has been. Thanks to everyone who commented on my original post. You guys really opened my eyes to some things I had been completely blind to. You weren't kidding about the red flags. Had plenty of time to really think about this whole situation while dealing with my broken phone. And the more I analyzed every detail of the past 9 months, the more completely messed up it all became. I started making a mental list of all the times she had been weird about work stuff, and it was way longer than I realized. So after posting here and reading all your responses, I decided to do what any rational person would do. I looked into this divorce situation, not in some creepy stalker way, but I realized I had been taking her word for absolutely everything, without ever seeing a single piece of actual proof. Think about it. 9 months together, and she has never shown me divorce papers, never mentioned a lawyer's name, never even complained about legal fees. For someone supposedly going through what should be a pretty expensive and emotionally draining process, she has been remarkably calm about it. My buddy Mike went through a divorce 2 years ago, and it completely consumed his life for like 8 months. Couldn't talk about anything else. Evangeline never mentioned any of that. No stress about splitting assets. No complaints about legal costs. No concerns about alimony. Just this vague, "Oh, the lawyers are handling everything." So I did what probably any guy with an internet connection would do. I checked public records online. You can look up divorce filings in our county for like $20 through the court system website. I searched her name, his name, different combinations. Spent about 2 hours going through every possible combination. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No divorce filing anywhere in the system. Not pending. Not finalized. Not even withdrawn. Complete radio silence. That hit me like a freight train. Either she filed in a completely different county for some weird reason, or she has been straight up lying to me about the entire thing for 9 months. I sat there staring at my laptop screen for probably an hour, just trying to process what this meant. Was I the other man this whole time without knowing it? Had she been living some kind of double life where she was still married to Max but dating me on the side? But here is where it gets really crazy. While I am sitting there trying to figure out how to even approach this with her, she finally breaks her silence and texts me. Not an apology. Not, "Hey, I have been thinking, and maybe we should talk about this." Just this: "I have been thinking about what you said, and I think you are being really selfish. This is already the hardest time of my life, and instead of supporting me through it, you are making everything about your feelings. If you are going to bring more pain to my life instead of helping me heal, then just go." I read that text probably 10 times, each time getting more incredulous. This woman, who has been keeping me a complete secret for 9 months, who wants to take her ex-husband to a work party instead of me, who might not even actually be getting divorced, is calling me selfish for having feelings about being treated like garbage. The manipulation was so obvious it was almost insulting. She is trying to flip the script and make me the bad guy for not wanting to be her dirty little secret. That is when something just clicked in my brain. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't confused or hurt or trying to figure out how to fix things. I was just done completely. Utterly done. I texted back. You are absolutely right. You deserve someone who will accept being your secret while you play house with another man at work parties. That is not me. I deserve someone who is proud to be with me, not someone who hides me away like I am something to be ashamed of. I genuinely wish you the best with whatever you are actually going through. But we are done. Her response came back in literally 30 seconds. Fine, whatever. But can I still use your Netflix password? I am not even joking. I had to read it 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. This woman just got broken up with, and her immediate first concern is maintaining access to my Netflix account. The sheer audacity was actually kind of impressive. But wait, it gets so much better. About an hour later, my phone starts ringing. It is her, and she is absolutely losing it. Full emotional meltdown. Crying so hard I could barely understand what she was saying. Suddenly she realizes what she has lost. Suddenly she wants to work things out and find a compromise that works for both of us. I was just scared, she keeps saying through the tears. I was scared of how people would judge me for dating so soon after my separation. But here is the thing, it was too late. That manipulative text showed me exactly who she really is underneath all the tears and sudden promises. Someone who prioritizes appearances over authenticity. Someone who will manipulate and guilt trip when they don't get their way. I told her I was done and hung up. Then I immediately went to Netflix and changed my password. But the story gets even wilder. 3 days later, I get a text from a number I don't recognize. Hey, this is Max, Evangeline's husband. Can we talk? My heart nearly stopped, but when I called him back, the conversation was nothing like what I expected. Turns out he had no idea she had been telling people they were working things out. He had been dating someone else for 6 months, a woman named Rebecca, and thought Evangeline knew about it. He was completely confused why she had been texting him asking him to go to work events with her when they barely talk anymore. Dude, he says, I thought you knew. We have been separated for over a year. I moved out last January. The only reason we haven't filed yet is because we keep putting off the paperwork, but there is nothing to work out. So not only was she lying to me about the status of the divorce, she was apparently lying to him about their relationship status too. This woman was actively manipulating both of us to maintain whatever narrative worked best for her at any given moment. Max actually seemed like a decent guy, quiet, a little awkward on the phone, but straightforward and honest. Definitely not the controlling person she had described to me. But the story doesn't end there. Because yesterday I found out what actually happened at that Christmas party she was so worried about. Update 2, sorry for the delay, guys. Work had me pulling doubles all week because 2 analysts called out sick and we had a major client presentation. Finally got a chance to write this out properly. You are absolutely not going to believe how this Christmas party situation played out. So remember how Evangeline was so desperate to bring Max to maintain her perfect married image at work? Well, after our breakup and after Max told her he was dating someone else, she had a serious problem. Christmas party was in 4 days and she suddenly had no date and no explanation for why her devoted husband couldn't make it. My buddy Jake works in the same office building as her company, different floor, completely different business, but same building, so he sees people from her office in the elevators all the time. Since the breakup, he has been keeping me updated on any drama he might overhear. According to Jake, the week leading up to the party was apparently pure chaos for Evangeline. She kept changing her story about whether Max was coming. First, she told people he might have to work late. Then she said he was feeling under the weather. By Thursday, she was telling people he had food poisoning. The problem was, she had been building up this narrative for months about how excited she was for everyone to finally meet her amazing husband. So when she showed up to the party alone Friday night, It immediately raised questions from people who had been genuinely excited to meet this mysterious perfect man. Jake said he overheard two women from her floor talking about it Saturday morning. Apparently Sarah from accounting was particularly suspicious because she actually knows Max from somewhere. Turns out her husband went to high school with him, and they are Facebook friends. So when Evangeline started explaining that Max was home with food poisoning, Sarah just casually pulled out her phone and showed her Max's latest Facebook post from that exact same evening, posted 3 hours earlier at Romano's, the fancy Italian place across town, with his arm around a woman none of them had ever seen before. The caption was something like "Amazing night with my beautiful Rebecca. 6 months and still feels like the honeymoon phase." Jake said the look on Evangeline's face was apparently priceless, complete deer in headlights panic. She tried to stammer out some explanation about how it must be an old photo, but Sarah showed her the timestamp and the geolocation tag. "Isn't this posted 3 hours ago?" Sarah asked. "Loud enough for several other people to hear? I thought you said he was homesick." That is when the whole house of cards came crashing down. Evangeline had to admit, right there in front of half her office, that she had been lying about being happily married. Had to explain that they were actually separated and had been for over a year, but instead of just coming clean gracefully, she apparently made it worse by continuing to lie. Started spinning this story about how they were working through some temporary issues and the separation was just a trial period. The problem was, people started asking follow-up questions, like why she was still wearing her wedding ring if they were separated, why she had pictures of them together on her desk from what was clearly a recent vacation. Jake said by the end of the night, word had spread through the entire party and everyone was talking about it. Not in a supportive way, but in a "wow, she has been lying to us for months" way. People started questioning what else she might have been dishonest about. Her boss apparently pulled her aside Monday morning for a very serious conversation about integrity and transparency in the workplace. Not enough to fire her, but definitely enough to damage her professional reputation significantly. Because when people discover you have been lying about something as basic as your marital status for months, they start wondering what else you might be lying about. Can they trust the reports you file? Are your client interactions honest? Jake heard through the office grapevine that she has basically been blacklisted from any promotion considerations. Nobody wants to recommend someone for advancement when they have proven they will lie about fundamental aspects of their life. The karma didn't stop there though. Over the next few weeks, she kept texting me. First angry texts about how I ruined everything by breaking up with her before the party. Then sad texts about how much she missed me. Then desperate texts asking if we could just be friends because she needed someone to talk to. I didn't respond to any of them, but the real turning point came about 2 months later. I had been taking some time to work on myself, hitting the gym more, hanging out with friends I had been neglecting. My buddy Mike had been encouraging me to get back out there when I was ready. That is when I met Amanda at a friend's birthday party. She is 32, teaches elementary school. Just this genuinely warm person who was immediately interested in getting to know me. No games, no complications, no secret agendas. We hit it off immediately, and you know what she did on our third date? Brought me to her school's fundraiser dinner and spent the entire night introducing me to everyone as her boyfriend. Colleagues, other teachers, parents. She had known for years. She was genuinely proud to have me there with her. Standing there in that school cafeteria, watching Amanda light up as she talked about me to her principal, I realized what I had been missing for 9 months with Evangeline. The feeling of being with someone who actually wants to share their life with you instead of hiding you away. But the absolute perfect ending to this story happened just last month. Final update had to share the latest development, because you guys have been following this story from the beginning, and this is honestly too perfect not to tell. The universe has a sense of humor. I swear, it has been about a year since all this went down, and Amanda and I are doing incredible. We moved in together last month, and she is already making noise about wanting to meet my parents at Christmas. Complete opposite of being someone's secret. This woman wants to show me off to everyone she has ever met in her entire life. Her mom calls me weekly now just to chat about sports and ask when I am going to propose. It is like living in a completely different reality from what I experienced with Evangeline. But last week I got a LinkedIn message from Evangeline that was so out of left field it actually made me laugh out loud. Not a friend request, mind you. Just a message. Apparently she has been reflecting on past relationships and wanted to clear the air between us because she has been doing deep personal work in therapy. The message was this whole thing about how she has learned to value authentic connections and prioritize emotional honesty, and how she realizes she handled things poorly when we were together. Corporate buzzword soup, mixed with therapy speak, probably copied and pasted from some self-help book she has been reading. But here is the kicker. She asks if I would be open to meeting for coffee because she has something important to tell me about our relationship that she wasn't ready to share before. Like she has been sitting on some big secret this whole time that would somehow change everything if only I knew the truth. I showed Amanda the message and we both just started cracking up. This woman spent 9 months keeping me secret, tried to take her ex-husband to a work party instead of me, called me selfish for having feelings about it. And now she wants to meet up because she has some mysterious revelation that will supposedly make it all make sense. Amanda's response was perfect. She is realizing the grass wasn't greener, and now she wants to come back to the yard she burned down. Pretty much nailed it. I didn't respond to the LinkedIn message, left her on red, just like she deserved. But the absolute perfect ending to this story happened yesterday, when Amanda and I were setting up tables for her school's spring fundraiser. While we are working, Amanda mentions how one of her college friends who works in corporate management has been dealing with some serious workplace drama lately. Apparently this woman at her company got caught lying about being married for like a year, and it completely destroyed her professional reputation. Yeah, she kept pretending to be happily married when she was actually separated, then got busted when her fake husband showed up at a company event with his real girlfriend. Amanda says, "My friend Sarah says nobody trusts her anymore because if you will lie about something that basic for that long, what else are you lying about?" She has basically become the office pariah. I nearly dropped the table I was carrying. Wait, what company does your friend Sarah work for? Turns out Amanda's college friend is Sarah from accounting, the same Sarah who called Evangeline out at the Christmas party. Small world doesn't even begin to cover it. According to Sarah, Evangeline is still at the company, but has been basically blacklisted from any advancement opportunities. Her reputation never recovered from the lying incident, and she has become that person everyone talks about but nobody really trusts or respects. She has been passed over for 3 different promotions in the past year, and Sarah thinks she is probably going to have to find a new job if she wants any chance of career growth. Apparently, she has been applying to other companies but struggling because her current manager will not give her a strong reference. Meanwhile, I am sitting here planning Amanda's surprise birthday party next month, where I am going to propose in front of all her friends and family. Someone who is proud of you doesn't hide you. They celebrate you and want the whole world to know how lucky they are. The best part. Amanda has no idea how perfect the timing is, but she has been talking about wanting to start looking at engagement rings together because she cannot wait to call me her fiancé. This woman is excited about every milestone in our relationship, instead of treating each step forward like some shameful secret that needs to be hidden from the world. That LinkedIn message from Evangeline feels like closure I didn't even know I needed. It confirmed that I made absolutely the right choice walking away from someone who saw me as a convenience rather than a priority. Sometimes, the best revenge really is just living well while they deal with the consequences of their own choices. The contrast between Evangeline and Amanda couldn't be more stark. With Evangeline, I spent 9 months wondering if I was good enough to be part of her real life. With Amanda, I spend every day feeling grateful that someone so amazing chooses to build a life with me. That is the difference between someone who sees you as an inconvenience and someone who sees you as a gift. I used to think Evangeline's secrecy was about protecting her professional image, but now I realize it was about keeping her options open. She wanted the stability of a relationship without the commitment of actually integrating me into her life. If you are reading this and recognizing patterns from your own relationship, take it from someone who wasted 9 months. Walk away. The right person will not need to hide you while they figure out what they want.